Hey, it's your boy J Hardcore Boxing News back at you with what's happening in the world of boxing today. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. If you hear the sound of my voice right now, that's letting me know that God is giving you another opportunity to be great. He allows you to wake up and be able to participate on today's events, man. And I'm so glad that I am in that number. And yeah, I see I got my brother here with me as well. Yes, indeed. I'm talking about the Pope of Pugilism, man. My guy, George Hanson. What's up, George?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm just keeping life just real simple, man. Real simple. And yourself?
Great, man. After my man Derek Chisora did his thing yesterday.
I'm a big Shazor fan, man. Big Shazor fan. You know, how can you not love a guy that's just a bona fide warrior?
He's been around so long, man. I was going back to my Jack Johnson book, and I swear, Chisora. There was a picture of Chisora sparring with Jack
I wouldn't
back
be
in 1910 for the James J. Jeffrey fight on July 4th.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised, man. That brother pulled it off yesterday, man, and pulled it off in a good fashion too. Put the big young, well, the guy wasn't even a youngster. Well, he's youngster to Derek, because Derek's 40, and I think he was like 35 or
Yeah, 30.
38.
Yeah, 36. But he stayed in amateurs a long time.
Yeah, he did. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Right. Let's bring our other brother in real quick. Hold on one second. Bruce, cut him loose, Bruce.
Good morning, my friends.
Good
How's it
morning,
going?
huh?
How you doing, man?
Okay, you in the morning? All right.
Getting ready for the evening's festivities over here, man. I always like to come in on a Sunday for the old timers. Makes me feel young again, and it's a good time.
I love it myself, man. It's something that I definitely look forward to in the beginning of our week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Started out with us. You know, so I love that. I love that for sure, man. Let's look and see who is in the chat right now. First person in the chat is ex Kodak Cam. He said, "Good morning, quote." Said, "Whoop that trick you heard." If I'm not mistaken, that brother's from Cambodia. If I'm not mistaken, man. So salute to the brother. Ex Kodak Cam is in the building. Then I got my brother right there, the voice of boxing, Just Do. He says, peace to the big homie, respect to the hangout. Salute to him. And just like I got my brother, I got my little sis in here as well. Got Doc and Lovely. Melon Queen 27 is in the building. She said, good evening, Jay, and the old timers hangout. Family, peace, and blessing. Salute to you, little sis. Always good to see you in the building. We got the Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Say salute to the hangout and the old timers. Smash that like button. How about that? Smash it. Then we got Ace Boogie, brother Love in the building. He said, "Love family." That brother, anytime you see him, love comes right after that. You better believe it. Always good to see him. Mama Do, what's up, Mama Do? We see you dropped a few videos today. Salute to you getting into this pugilism, as we would say, as well. Salute to you, Mama Do. Being in boxing news. What's up, being in? Always good to see my brother over there. Good to see you. Fender Bender. Wow. There go my guy. 6'19" is in the building, man. Shout out to Fender Bender. He said, just dropping to show some love. Saturday looked like a 90s heavyweight fight. Hugging and slugging. Yes, indeed. They did take us back, didn't they? Definitely took us back into yesterday, man. For sure. Oh, we got construction shorty in the building. Talib Cuttingham is in the building, and he says, good evening to everyone. And you know what? Back at you, man. Good to see you, man. I'm glad to be back in another show. And man, I'm just happy to be here. And yesterday was some good old boxing. Yesterday, some good old fights, man. Even Manny Pacquiao was fighting yesterday. I didn't even know. Did y'all know Manny Pacquiao was fighting yesterday?
I saw it on the schedule, but I didn't go and chase the fight down. I heard it was 3-round exhibition, and I heard that he almost had to be carried out of the ring after the third round. He was so bad.
Manny need to be up here on the panel is what he need to be doing. He need to be right up in here with us, man, having a good old conversation instead of getting punched on, man. Manny need to stop playing and realize that it is a young person's sport and stop flirting with these young boys, man. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, mess around, get hit with the boo-bop bang, and it be over.
I hang with a lot of old fighters, and man, 99% of them, they all think they got one more in them, bro. They're all ready for that payday.
I agree. We just still think that we can still punch with the youngsters, man. You know what I mean? I told you it was that last time I thought I could still jump over the fence, man. I was in my backyard, man. I tried to jump over the fence, and for some reason, man, that fence got a little higher for me. It clipped me in the air, man.
I know that fence.
For sure. What's up, Mike Rim? Good to see Mike Rim. That's him. He's up in the building. Salute to my brother Mike Rim, Fisherman Shawty in the building. Yeah, man. Today, y'all see the topic in the title. It said the business of boxing. Brought to you by the old timers, man. And we're gonna get in here and try to talk to you all about the business of boxing. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a dirty, dirty, dirty business, man. You better believe it. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, nobody. Let me turn this.
Yeah, there's sounds like a bunch of squirrels running around.
No, it's my alarm telling me that I didn't turn the snooze off. So. Yeah, that business of boxing, man, that has never been regulated. You know what I mean? For some reason, we still got it from like how it's been since the 1900s. And nobody has stepped in to say, you know what, it need to be federal regulated or anything. It continue on being how it is and how it's going to be. Nothing has changed. Ain't that amazing?
I wouldn't say nothing has changed, J Hardcore. We live in a capitalist society. Are you still there?
We're listening to you.
I don't think somebody can listen with their back turned to me. I'll wait till he come back.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Go ahead.
I'm saying people see a lot of times people say nothing has changed in boxing or nothing has changed. There's the Muhammad Ali Act of 1996, right? Which is some regulation that pretty much changed a lot in boxing for fighters, right? That was a huge legislation. But despite the act being there, fighters and so-called managers and people in boxing refused to educate themselves about the Ali Act of 1996. So one thing that hasn't changed in boxing is that I'm not trying to disparage anybody. One thing hasn't changed is that fighters and managers or fighters and trainers, a lot of people don't understand the Ali Act, or they don't understand the power that they have. The majority of fighters think they work for the promoter. You understand my point? The promoter works for you. You get my point? A lot of managers believe the fighters work for them. No, the fighters, you hire the managers. So the power dynamics will change when fighters fully educate themselves instead of being a dependent on people. Go educate yourself like Mikey Garcia. Learn something about contracts. As Bob Marley said, in an abundance of water, fools die of thirst. So when we say nothing has changed in boxing, that's not true. With the Ali Act, before a manager or a promoter could be your manager and your promoter. The Ali Act changed that. Managers could take whatever they wanted to take from your purse. The Ali Act changed that. A lot has changed. Now it's required that you take a physical, you get a brain scan. That wasn't always the case. There were guys that had serious health problems that were fighting before. So a lot has changed in boxing. But what has not changed for me, what has not changed from the time I got into boxing till now, that the masses who participate in this great sport of ours, the fighters themselves, they refuse to educate themselves. They have this dependency mentality that somebody's going to take care of them. That's what hasn't changed, but a lot has changed. You can't fight in Pennsylvania without having a brain scan or a physical. That wasn't the case. Before the Ali Act, there were managers taking 50% of your purse. A lot has changed in boxing.
So let me ask you a question. Do you feel that, okay, you and I, we both know what the Ali Act did. The Ali Act separated people from the manager being the manager and the promoter. Are we correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Exactly. Well, some people will still argue that certain companies still act with both of those hats, but and I'm not going to use names or titles or companies or anything, but yet learn how to teetotal down the line to continue on doing that.
My friend, there's always a loophole for stuff to be permissible, but there are ways of getting around that. The problem that I have, I'm in the gym 5 days a week, probably 6 sometimes, right? I've been around a lot of fighters, pros. I'm around a lot of amateurs, right?
Keep going. I'm just going to make sure my coffee is good, but people here.
You know how many fighters I've told to go read the Ali Act, and trainers? Probably hundreds. You know how many have read it? I doubt if 2 have read it.
Go ahead.
So, Jay Hardcore, this is the only sport you can come in. As I said before, the great Bob Marley said, in an abundance of water, fools die of thirst. I can tell you the permissible way of getting around the Ali Act, and people have gotten around it. Okay, Jay Hardcore, you're my uncle, right? I'm managing Brucey. I'm his manager, right? You set up a separate company, right? You're my cousin. You're the promoter, right? I signed my fighter, who I'm managing, to my uncle's promotional company, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's permissible. You get my point? 2 separate legal entities, right? But guess what? You and I are in collusion together. You understand?
Totally.
But you can get around it. Nobody told a fighter to sign with that manager or that promotional company. Yeah, but you signed your name, if you see my point. So why would I sign with Jay Hardcore as the promoter, right? And Jay Hardcore's son as the manager? Whose interest do I think Jay Hardcore Jr. is going to represent, mine or his dad? You see my point.
I totally see it.
Yeah, you can talk to Terrible Tim about that with Don King and Carl King, man. That's how that's all was pretty much created.
I didn't want to mention any names.
Yeah, we're not going to say names. We're not going to say names.
I know it's true, bro. I name names. I don't dance around the fucking fire, you know.
No, I'm not dancing around. See. Can I say this? I'm not.
I'm not making any revelations. This is public knowledge. This is
you're right. It is public knowledge.
It is
true.
Public knowledge, but I'm not going to be one. Give you an example. There was a middleweight champion, to remain nameless, that went and called a fellow Harvard graduate from Harvard Law School a crook on national TV or whatever, right? That middleweight champ from Philly ended up, I think he was a couple 100,000 lighter for making that statement. You know who I'm talking about, G Hardcore.
I know wholly what you're talking about.
So I'm just saying, I'm not gonna make a statement, but we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah, Bruce don't give a damn. Bruce, 100 years old and up there in Rhode Island, don't give a shit.
I'm gonna get a T-shirt. I'm gonna get me a T-shirt that's gonna say name names. one word, two fucking sentences.
Okay, we have Bruce, Che Guevara Bruce here, the revolutionary.
Hey man, we're in the infomercial age, man. You know, we can't keep secrets anymore.
I know, but
you can fly in LA and they're gonna smell it in Japan. You know what I'm saying?
No, but everyone knew what I was talking about. But that happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple of simps out here. We gotta make it easy, you know. Not everybody's up to our pay grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, there are other scenarios where it's not relationship by this, but it happens here in Philadelphia and everywhere, where I know certain managers, certain promoters in Philly back in the day, or I'm not indicting anybody, certain managers were loyal to certain promoters. So really, were you getting independent representation? I don't believe so. Let me say that. I don't believe so.
How you doing today, Marvin?
Hey, how's everybody today?
Man, we're fine, man. We're just sitting here.
Salute, my brother.
Having a little powwow talking about the business of boxing. One of your favorites.
So
We've been talking forever about that, man.
It's just that the mindset of a lot of people haven't changed. But the rules, just the fact that Muhammad Ali Act, that was like the Emancipation Proclamation. That was like the 13th Amendment for boxing, right? Huge legislation. Thanks, huge. That changed a lot. Now with this athletic commission, the state commission requiring, requiring all these tests to be, for you to have these brain scans and all these various tests. That was huge. And the fact that guys were suspended after they get knocked out and all that fun stuff, that's huge.
Well, the fight we just had in Philly, the Boots Ennis fight, he was gonna fight Cody Crowley.
Yes.
But they had the eye test mandatory now. Years ago that wasn't. And a fighter that I know well, Sugar Ray Seals, bro. That guy fought blind because they didn't give him eye tests. He fought with torn fucking cataracts, man, and that's the way boxing was back then. The name of the game now is to take care of the fighters.
I got a big one for you too, Bruce. The most famous one, fought with one eye, Gypsy Joe Harris.
Okay, Philadelphia's finest.
Fought Emil Griffith with one eye. Gypsy Joe, everybody knew he was blind in one eye.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Ray Seals had one eye too, man.
Joe Frazier too. I mean, you've seen the Rocky movies where they do the eye test and his coach gives him a little tap on the shoulder twice to let. Oh, I see two fingers up there. That's from Joe Frazier, because Joe Frazier was born in the left eye, And I mean, it's a sad fact, but taking care of fighters is of the utmost. And now, Cody Crowley, he swears there's nothing wrong with him. He swears you could get in the ring, but you know, we got people that know more about health than he does, and they say, no, your eyesight is precious, and you're gonna sit this one out. So I mean, boxing has definitely come a lot. It's advanced much further for the protection of the fighters, which is definitely the utmost importance.
Yeah, just Michigan got to stand strong, you know, as far as the rules and stuff, and stick with it. That could prevent a lot of deaths.
The young guy that is a color analyst now that wears shades during the shows. What's the young guy name? That was a PBC broadcaster. Man, what's his name? He has the eye. What is his name? I can't think of his name. Somebody in the chat will put it in there.
I'm the worst with names, man. I know the face. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah. He his one eye looks that way all the time when he talks. I'm not talking about the Philadelphia kid that fights right now, but it's another kid that, and his eye has been bad for a long time, and he got away with a lot of it times, you know, and not passing these tests, but yet he was a good name. So they somehow, some way, some fashion, if one state didn't, there it is, exactly, Abner. Yeah,
I couldn't get
right. I knew about his eyes being bad, man, before it even came out. I was in Las Vegas one time. I was having lunch at one of those. Was MO, the guy be like, bow, bang, restaurant. And I was sitting next to his cousin or somebody. And we got to having a conversation, man. And he was like, man, my cousin can't see worth a shit out of one eye, man. But yet they keep him on.
Damn. He put him out there, huh?
Yeah, he did, man. He put him out there, man. And that was over 10 years ago when he told me that, man. Then later on, it came out that, this brother can't see, man.
Bro, we've come so far with medical, advanced medical treatments in the years. I had to wear glasses my whole life, man, since I was in the 4th grade. I couldn't pass my driving license test. I'm 69 years old. I had cataracts taken out. They put another lens in my eye. I got fucking 20/20 vision, bro. No more glasses. No contacts, no nothing. It's incredible how advanced we've come to arthroscopic surgery. And I mean, dude, I couldn't get my driver's license. I was ready to cry. They said, nope, you flunked the eye test. What? Everybody's got a license. And I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, man, we got to take care of those eyes and boxes, man. Did you see there was a fight yesterday, and what was the kid's name? But he had a big gash on his eye. I'll think of his name shortly.
Okay.
It was a welterweight fight.
I didn't watch all the undercards. I was just looking at some of the main cards myself.
Was that the same card Clarissa Shields was on?
Yeah, it was on the Clarissa Shields card.
Yeah.
Okay, where was it under? Because I know we had Michelle Rivera and the guy he fought. Then we had the guy Erkshaft and the guy that beat him.
Erkshaft.
It was on that card. The guy.
It was Erkshaft.
Erkshaft. Okay, yeah. That's the guy that fought Matias.
He
got the hell beat out of him by Matias, and then he lost again last night. Donnell Poole say George Foreman beat Joe Frazier and wasn't that good of a boxer. George Foreman beat Joe Frazier. I can't agree that either one of them weren't good of a boxers. Both of them were great boxers, man. I enjoyed both of their fighting, man. Smokey Joe was a hell of a fighter.
I'll say this about George Foreman. He would have been champion in any era.
Yeah.
In any era.
Once he touched you.
When George Foreman fought Joe Frazier, George said his legs were shaking so much his knees were knocking. He was just praying that Joe didn't look down there and see how scared he was. Joe Frazier's just coming off a victory of Muhammad Ali, undefeated. Joe Frazier, I was on that ride, late '60s, early '70s, man. Joe Frazier was the bomb. That left hook was legendary. It still is. But Big George, 1973, I think it was in January, and man, George came out in Kingston, Jamaica, man.
My dad was George Foreman's bodyguard.
No, really?
My father's Jamaican police officer. He was assigned to George Foreman. Detail. I ended up meeting him in Atlantic City in 2010. I told him that's how I held up the line in the autograph place, and I got a nice picture with him.
Nice.
He remembered my dad.
I mean, that's the typical freaking Ali act. Don King goes down there with Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier gets knocked out. He walks over the body of Joe Frazier, and he leaves with George Foreman.
Oh, Bruce, remember that one?
There ain't no loyalty in boxing, bro.
No, Bruce, it's a funny story about it. He came down to Jamaica with Joe Frazier.
Oh, yeah.
Stayed in the same hotel. Went to the fight with Joe Frazier, right?
Oh, yeah.
Frazier gets knocked out by Foreman. He leaves with George Foreman. So somebody said, Don, what happened? He said, listen, I came with the champ and I left with the champ.
Yep. I only hang with winners. And he did the same thing.
Just business,
when Harry Coetzee knocked out Michael Dokes. He was in Dokes' corner. He walked right over Michael Dokes out cold in the ring, and now he's with Harry Coetzee. I mean, there's no loyalty in the game.
You know what? That reminds me of a comedy joint that I used to listen to, man. Let me bring Brother Bernard Hackett in. Bring Bernard in. Who else we bringing in? Mr. Will.
Brother Bernard, congratulations, man.
Man, I appreciate it, brother. I was trying to reach you. We played tag.
I know, man. I didn't have a chance. I was impressed. I didn't have a chance to, talk to you guys, but I sent you the story. It was like 11 pages.
Yeah, I tried to hit you so we could talk about it. I said, man, this man harder to catch than a cold or something.
I know, man, but congratulations, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
He did his thing.
It was a good start to the 10-round level, but I saw a lot of stuff that we have to make a lot of improvements on.
But let me put it this way. It was impressive. And, kept that jab on him. And
yeah. The success of
the defense was tight. The defense was tight.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. But you know better than anybody. You, Bruce, Marvin, Mr. Will, jab is the key to boxing. If you get jab, you can win fight.
That's right.
The Eastern assassin beat people with a jab.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Somebody got some background. I'm hearing the TV in the background or something.
Now it's all my grandkids in the back. I'm about to mute myself.
Okay, cool. All right. I was about to say what was so funny when you said that how Don King would leave with one fighter, would come with one fighter and leave with another fighter. It takes me back to something that Richard Pryor said in one of his comedies. Richard Pryor said he was in every game in Chicago, whoever was winning. He said, I'm with this guy.
Yeah.
And that's how Don King rolls, man. He was gonna be with the winner, man. Simple as that. You dig? You know what I'm saying? And the business of boxing has always been funny, man. You dig? And there's so many stories that we all know because we've been around so long that we know a lot of the stories of boxing, you know. And go ahead, Marvin.
Look, one of my trainers, old school trainer named Jimmy McAllister, right? And during that time, they want you to take a dive, right? And he said he was in that fight, man. Then he decided he was going to beat the guy up, right? So he looked out in the audience, and the dude was ringside, man, and flashed his gun at him.
Oh,
like lift up his coat, lift up his jacket, and showed him what was going to happen to him. And he went on and took the dive, man.
That reminds me
doing
of a movie. Do y'all remember that movie Digstown? Anybody ever seen that movie Digstown?
Yeah,
It was a good movie. It was a
Man,
good
that
movie.
was a hell of a movie with
Louis Gossett Jr.
Jr. Man, if anybody hasn't seen that movie Digstown, you Lord have mercy, it shows you about the business of boxing.
Yeah.
I love that movie, man. I might watch that tonight, man. Digstown was amazing, man. He was talking to one of the guys. He was telling them about winning. He said, I'm going to whoop some good. I'm going to whoop some good. Yes, but they had the man family tied up. He had his brother tied up and everything, man. So, you know, they was making sure that they won them fights, man. And let me tell you something. That's not too much of a steer from how it was in real life. Because let me tell you something. Jake LaMotta talked about many a times that he took that dive. You know what I'm saying?
That was the Billy Fox fight. And that's the fight that guaranteed him a title shot. He had to take the dive for the mob. I mean, you know, we hear about it all the time, even today. Oh, man.
Do you think them dives are still being taken now?
Yeah,
it's not so much. Yeah, it's taking a dive, but it's not forced. It's paid dives.
Like last night, that Marius Walk, the heavyweight who fought Utani, he didn't really take a dive, but he was brought in there to be a punching bag, and they knew that 2-3 rounds. He had the free range of the canvas. He could go down anytime he wanted to, and that's pretty much you know, you're paid to come in and build up a sweat and take a dive. But there was no way he was going to win.
Yeah. All he had to
Days,
do was not get hurt, you know, so he can spend his money the right way.
With these days, something that Marvin says all the time is how they're doing it now. Matchmaking.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'll make somebody look real damn good. I mean, they done built them up real nice. He got an undefeated record. He been down in Mexico knocking out every El Perro and Garcia, and you know what I'm saying? And you know, and they make him look real good with knockouts and everything. And then he puts them up against your favorite fighter and make it looks like he is really a competitive person that's going to give your boy a chance. You know,
and that's how the managers get their money back and the promoters get their money back when he fight for their title. Everybody get paid. That's the whole process, getting paid, man.
Yeah, man. Hold on one second. We got
how many kids have we seen that come into the ring 44-0, their first test? Come to mind a guy like Dwayne Bobbitt, undefeated. They put him in there with Ken Norton, 1-round massacre. You know, it just happens throughout boxing. Like my boy Marvin said, matchmaking. You can pad a guy's record. You can send him on a tour where he's going to pay fighters to pad his record.
Right.
But Bruce, I would say this: Dwayne Bobbitt was actually a good fighter.
Excellent fighter.
He wasn't ready at that time for Ken Norton.
There's levels to fighting, and Dwayne Bobbitt did not tend to become a pro, bro.
Dwayne Bobbitt was really a good amateur.
He was an Olympic bronze medalist, man. He was favored to beat Teofilo Stevenson in the 72 Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't a bad fighter. It's just that he got
go watch his fight with Chuck Wepner. It was just like the fight we saw yesterday with Joe Joyce and Derek Chisora. He was not championship material, is what I'm saying. And they built his record. They put him in there. I mean, he was the great white hope. They put him in there against Ken Norton, who was on the downslide, and he was exposed. He was exposed.
But I'm gonna disagree to a point. He was a great amateur, but they probably didn't match him so he could develop. We've seen guys, right? I'll give you an example. We've seen guys who were great amateurs and they develop them and they really get better to when they get to that point to fight a top contender. Then we've seen guys who were really great amateur and they just give them tomato cans and the first live body knocked them out. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, they couldn't make that transition, man. You know?
Bobby did fight some pretty tough guys on the way up. He fought the Scott Ledoux, like the Wepners.
But he could fight. To say Dwayne Bobbitt is a
bum. He could fight. But when he reached that elite level, and at that time you had the Ken Nortons, the George Foremans, the Ali's. He was penciling for a fight with Ali. He just that record did not match that talent. It was.
But I'm saying Norton just got to him early. He just got to him early and never recovered.
Well,
but
that's boxing, man.
Bobby could fight. You know what I'm saying?
Boxing.
I don't want anybody to act like Dwayne Bobbitt was a bust or he was a bum.
Bro, I love Dwayne Bobbitt.
Actually could fight.
Go to my homepage. I did a show. I dedicated a show to Dwayne Bobbitt. You know, great amateur. Pro.
He just couldn't make that transition into the pros,
he got
man.
Caught by Ken Norton.
He got caught by Ken Norton, and he also got caught by Big John Tate not long after that when he had a second way to make a comeback. Got knocked out by John Tate in the first round. So Dwayne Bobbitt was good, but it wasn't good.
So he got knocked out by 2 heavyweight champs.
And then he got beat by George Chapman, a guy from Maryland.
That's right. That's right, George.
Or was he from Maryland?
Yeah, but Baltimore.
Man, you know, I love Dwayne Bobbitt, but he's definitely not a championship caliber fighter. That's all I'm saying, man.
But some guys got rushed too during their careers. Like, for example, David Reed and Ferocious Vargas. What was his first?
Fernando.
Both of them got rushed along, and they had short careers.
Yeah, David Reed, he had that eye problem, man. That eye would always close on him.
Yeah, you know what? And that's so important that people don't understand, man. It doesn't say that you're a bad fighter, but you haven't got to the level that these other guys are already at, and you have not been put. Exactly. You're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? Brother Bernard talks about it, man. You know what I'm saying? When he talks about his son, he say, you know, he's not putting his son in there with Boots right now, and none of them type of cats, man, because them two different eras right now, man. His son is just developing right now. You know what I mean? Why would he put him in there with some guys that are older, that's already at a particular level right now? You know what I mean?
Hardcore. Can I say something for Bernard, Brother Bernard? There were a lot of people that thought the last fight that Brother Bernard was crazy taking that fight at this stage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As many people that said it. We all say it's a tough damn fight for the youngsters.
Yes.
We all kept it real. We say it's a tough fight. Not to say it wasn't winnable, but it was a tough damn fight. And he could have took something easier for his debut. But you know what rises to the top, though. Go ahead, brother.
I definitely want to say something on that. Matchroom wasn't happy with that fight, but when they went through everything, going back and forth to sign Jaleel, I respect them because they said if you are hell bent on a top fight and you want it to be for the best thing you can get it for, they offered us that, and I think they wanted Jaleel to say no, but. Like I told you before, Hardcore, I'm still his dad, but I'm also his coach, but I also now work for him. So when he's saying, I want this fight, and he was animate about it, and we had our back and forth.
And who's the boss?
Yeah, I mean.
Who's the boss?
He's the ultimate boss, but let me say this. I don't use the dad card unless I feel I have to. Now, if it's something where I think it's absolutely makes no sense, then I will use the dad card. Hey, this is dad saying no.
I understand.
Yeah, but if I don't have to use the dad card, I'm not gonna do it because he's a young man becoming his own man. And since he was probably 15 just in boxing, I was trying to let him see, hear, and know everything about his career and about himself so that he was able to make the decisions. Now, I also used the precautionary tail route, and I think me and George spoke about this on the phone in detail. I'm not going to let my son be Fernando Vargas by any means. And I love Fernando, and I thought he was a monster, and I thought he was great. But I thought it was what's best for the public and the promoter as opposed to what was best for Fernando. Because if he was my son, he wouldn't have never had an opportunity in his career to fight Oscar or to fight Felix Trinidad. Wouldn't have had an opportunity. I think me and my son had conversations before he left Mayweather and before he signed. I said, son, let's come up with something we can agree on. 3 fights that you'll never see happen. Bud, Earl, and Boots. You won't see those fights. Now with Jaleel,
hold on, but tell us why.
Because they're not in his era. I mean, if you think about boxing, if you think about a lot of different situations, but especially with our sport of boxing, if you stay in your lane, you can never crash. But the minute you try and switch lanes at 60 and everybody else going at 100, you're bound to have an accident. And it might not even be a logical accident. You know, if you look at a fight with my son and any of those 3, they would have to take a pay cut to give my son a raise. That's just what the fight say. And I wouldn't put my son in that situation, because some people think the worst thing that can happen is you could lose. That's not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is you can win. There is no reverse action. There is no brake pedal when you beat them. You beat any of those guys, and I respect them because they all been helpful to my son. But just using that example, if you beat one of them, they can only push you up. You beat all 3 of them, then they're going to be calling for you to go to the next weight class. Then if you win that, everything is going to be a succession. And with it, right now, my son just turned 20. He was 21 exactly 2 months before this last fight took place. At the rate of success and at the rate of the business, he could be 25 or 26, and you're talking about being in 10 wars and ain't worth a damn to not even himself. That's not what I want for my son.
And you know what? And let me interject right there. And after a while, the tables turn. And when I say the tables turn, is he's 28 now, and they're 37. You know what I'm saying? The tables have turned. You know what I'm saying? Where now he's in his prime and they're in their decline. You know what I'm saying? And they might not want to fight now because they know where they're at in their particular time in their life. You know what I mean?
And I think some fights just shouldn't happen. I think some fights just shouldn't happen. They should be fights of the imagination, a what if. There's some fights just shouldn't happen because you can never get both guys at their 100% best. It's not possible. When you have 10 years, 8 years in between them, you can never see them both at their best. So it's just a fictional fight.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate right now. Well, then you're gonna hear the people say, "Well, y'all really not allowing. You're ducking. You're this. You're that." No, you're not adhering to the game of business that normally, you know what I'm saying. We see it every time when the crafty old vet gets to a certain level and they bring that young lion out to take him out, man.
Once again, I've always said
he takes that fight because he needs
just
the
saw it recently.
I look at I look at the situation.
And Strata. That was an example of that.
Yeah, you can't get certain sparring with guys when they look at you as somebody who could probably be in their sights. If you're in their sights, if you in between their crosshairs, we not sparring. Right now, Jaleel can get sparring with Bud, he can get sparring with Boots, he can get sparring with Earl. Any of the top guys, because he looking at him saying, brother, y'all in y'all generation. If you ask me right now, what's the best fight I can see for my son a year from now? If the things go as it may, I would say him and Brian Norman. That'd be a great fight because they're both in the same era. They're both in the same era. Play your era. Like I said, I've talked to George a bunch of times. We've had great conversations. In order for the history books to keep getting written, there has to be a new person constantly making history. Everybody can't make history in the same book. So I'm not worried about what Floyd did in his time. I'm not worried about what Boots and Earl and Bud are doing in their time. I'm concentrated on my son's time because that's the time that he has to deal with.
What I keep saying is that it's all about transitioning. You know what I'm saying? And adapting. You know?
Yeah. But I won't knock those guys. I won't knock those guys who come from situations where financially they can't afford to say no to something because of their family demographic or their situation, I'm never going to knock those guys. An opportunity come for you that may not be the right situation or the right time. I can't tell you not to take it, but I'll say in the situation that me and my family are in, we ain't rich, but we ain't broke. We can say what makes logical sense. And I
You
think
can
that's
wait
where
it
the
out.
line should cross. When you have people who are not financially in necessity taking fights that only had the ability to line your pocket but not come out with the health of this young fighter. That's what I'm looking at, that advantage. We have a lot of
You're
the
looking
vast
at
majority
long
of
term.
fighters
You
that
know,
haven't
there's
come
been
from
a lot of there's been a
that.
lot of father and son stories throughout boxing, and a lot of them have turned out really really bad. And you know, I've talked to
Yeah.
some of the fighters who, I mean, you know, they despise their father to this day. Which, you know, and like we said, the business of boxing is terrible. And when you got blood in there, sometimes you know it's not business. It's father son. So it's that fine line, and it's real difficult, Bernard. I mean, you're in a situation where you can go one way or the other because, like I said, boxing history is it's spread out with fathers and sons. And I mean, dude, I name names: Sean O'Grady and his father, Wilfred Benitez and his father, Darren Van Horn and his father. We can go right down the line. Solid relation.
Yeah, you're
Shoot,
right.
Shawn Porter and his father. There's
Man,
a little static there.
well, I'll say again, one thing I did learn is that watching those father-son combinations, talking to some of those father-son combinations in different situations, when my son achieved the position of an adult, then at that point, I have to say, as the coach, I work for you. If you are hell-bent on a fight, even if I disagree, my son even tell me, it's your job to prepare me for the fight. It's my job to carry out the game plan and win it. But if I constantly act like just a father, when I say go, that's what sours the relationship. Like I told you, Jay, before, after the gym, my son want to keep talking about boxing. I'd be like, bro, catch me tomorrow. I'm in dad mode now. I'm in my truck. We got to talk about something else. Because when I'm in the gym, I'm coach mode. But you got to turn them off. And as a father, you can't cross the modes when it fits what you want things to be.
And then too, you never know who's in that person's ear. That's a problem too.
But you know when that becomes a problem, when you muddy the water so much in your relationship as a father, son, and as a coach athlete, that's the only time they can really get in your ear. When you
Yeah.
muddy the water, it's up to us to muddy that water. If not being not a boxer, but just as a father, all of us have sons or have children, and we've sent our children on overnight trips, or we sent them away to college or something like that. And we felt comfortable saying, I prepared my child for life, so I know what's going to happen. Yes, sometimes things can go wrong, but for the most part, we send our kids to college and they graduate, they come back home. So I think if you put the type of relationship and built the type of bond where your child says, I trust you, then you're always going to be able to give them your opinion and advice. You have 18 years to be in a situation where you're a dictator. But after 18 years, you become an advisor. And then after 21, you become an employee. Because the decision they make, they're going to make regardless of if you're there or not.
That's good stuff, man. And this is what we're talking about, the business of boxing. Hold on, we got a super chat right now. We got it from BBO Boxing TV, hashtag JBT, said, salute to the granddads. Just want to show some support. Salute to you, BBO. But yeah, man, and I'm going to tell you something. You have to learn how to take control of your career when you're a boxer, man. You are the actual boss, and you must know that. Now, I'm going to steer to someone that knows he's the boss, Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford knows that he is the boss, and he's not going to let us push him into a boots fight. He knows that that's a very good chance of him losing that fight, or it might be a very good chance of him winning that fight. But he's not going to allow us to make him take that fight for dollars on a cent. You know what I mean? He's not. You know what I'm saying? He says he wants Canelo. He feels though that's a more advantageous for his pockets. You know what I mean? And the longevity of his career. You know what I'm saying? But a Boots fight, an up and coming, strapping young fella, man, that's want to make a name off.
Unnecessary.
Right.
But it's like Canelo, man. You know, he's beat the financial end of the game, so you can't wave that in front of him. He calls his own shots, like, you know, for better or for worse. And let's hope he does it for better, man. I want to see him Saturday. I want to see if he's still got it in him. Bud's not a young man, and this Madrimov.
He's not.
I've only seen him fight once.
37. Yeah.
Hmm.
This guy he's fighting is 29. But
I
saw the same skill set though. Skill set different.
But you know, you never know when that
really haven't been beaten up. But really hasn't been beaten up on. Yeah, been beaten up.
Right.
Did you hear what I said, man? At 37, you never know when that skill and that experience becomes old age, and they can do it right before our eyes. So that's
we talked about it last week, where Father Time shows up when he wants to. He don't even let you know he's coming. He's a party crasher.
Look, and then when he comes, he's gonna say, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, he taps on the shoulder and say, "Come with me," and it's up to you if you listen or not.
But the thing is, like you said, Jay, the thing is with that, where the age shows up, Marvin said it, if you've been beat on, because we're being beat on, start losing reflexing timing and things of that nature. If you're fresh, like that's why Floyd can still compete somewhat if he wants to, but because he was never really beat on, and that makes a big difference. Those guys that went to war a lot, like Iran Barkley, for example, you know, you got definitely a time limit on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got a time limit on every single one of them. I think you just want to.
But you also got the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think you just got to lead with your faculties.
Yeah, but you look at Jake LaMotta. He died at 92. Who took more beatings than Jake LaMotta, and he still had his marbles. I mean, I think different enzymes, different genetics, and also
he had a thicker skull.
And everybody's
threshold than average.
The Abdullah Abgada.
Everybody's threshold for pain is different, y'all.
Sometimes you got to look back over a guy's career and think, was he ever sharp from the beginning? If your bucket is halfway empty when you get started, it's pretty much dry by the time you get some time in. You know, and like I said, every fighter got a different style. If you got a guy that's successful and he's more of a dominant, I'll take one, give one type guy, his career might be shorter.
It's going to be shorter. Sure.
I mean, so you gotta enjoy your pro career and the success you can enjoy at the time you can enjoy it. This might be the only longevity career out of all the professional pro sports. In football, you got 3 years. In basketball, you got 5. Baseball, you got an average of 7. And so all that window is a very short window. This one of the few where you got the average guy will fight past 30. Most of those NFL players and all that, they getting traded, they getting bounced around, or they out the league way before they see 30.
Yeah. I'll tell you one guy that we've seen in recent boxing history that probably had the shortest career I've ever seen. He was a brawler, and he lasted no time, and that was Brandon Rios.
Yeah, I almost
he had
forgot.
The shortest career I've ever seen.
Yeah, and he just totally disappeared. We don't see him nowhere.
Yeah, well, he's been retired.
I know, but we don't even hear him do nothing.
No, you don't. Look, he's probably a gibbering idiot right now. He probably can't even find his mailbox.
Not a gibbering idiot.
I'm saying, man, he took a lot of punishment, man. He took a lot of bad shots over the years.
Yeah, he probably forgot it was a boxer.
I like getting hit. That's all he used to say. Yeah, well, yeah, Mike Alvarado's another one.
Mm.
This
Yeah,
ain't
man.
Yeah, but you see these guys. These
Hey,
guys
I
had
was
very
just
short careers.
looking at what you said, Mr. Will. Brandon Rios right now has a net worth of $4 million.
Mm.
Take boxing away. Think about
Wow.
Brandon Rios at the beginning of his career. Would he have made $4 million
Yeah.
doing anything else on this planet?
Yeah, he for Pacquiao. He
Oh,
for Pacquiao.
oh no.
So he made
Oh
the
no.
most of what he had in the short, that
Yeah.
means he was one of the most profitable short-term businesses that we know.
Yeah. 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 Well, he took risks. That's what it was. He got
Yeah.
paid for taking
Yeah,
risks.
well, that's an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a
Yeah.
risk
Yeah,
How
taker.
about that? How
we all
about
take
that?
a risk. Some of
Yeah,
us, I just know Jay and me, we took
Well,
stupid risks. We wound up
he was in unwinnable fights a lot.
he might be
Anyway,
enjoying
man,
himself,
he
or
shouldn't
he
have
might be
been.
using that money to pay his doctor bills.
We don't know because
Yes, there
Right.
you go.
we don't know. We don't know,
There you
man.
go.
And let me tell you something. A lot of them pay in what they call a pint of flesh. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? That pint of flesh is something else. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, we all gonna pay it one way or another. We all gonna pay it one way or another. I look at it as the pursuit of happiness is your choice.
mm,
As long as you want to do something, you can do it. As long as somebody's willing to work with you, that's their choice. It's just I think that you give people your opinion, but at
mm,
the end of the day, that's all it is an opinion because people are gonna do what they want to do regardless.
right. That's so true. And the
Yeah.
sport of boxing will allow you to continue on doing it as long as you want to do it and can still
Yeah.
sell a ticket. They don't give a
Yeah.
damn. They don't give a
Yeah. That's
damn.
true.
Yes,
Man, the
That's
arena
true.
don't love nobody, man.
nah.
Gladiator, the arena don't love nobody.
Are you not entertained? You know what I mean? It's a blood sport. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And as long as people still paying to see your blood leak, they'll keep
Yeah,
keep on going, man. They're gonna keep you
and you
going.
gotta be willing to take that, to make that choice and take that chance.
They said
Yeah,
Manny
It's all about a
Pacquiao.
choice
They
and a
said Manny
chance.
Pacquiao fought last night. I didn't even know Manny Pacquiao was fighting last night, and I heard he looked like shit. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can believe.
But people
Did he
still
lose?
pay. Now they,
and if they can get him in there against Barrios, he gonna be fighting Barrios for the
yeah,
WBC title.
hell yeah, they bring his ass in the wheelbarrow.
Wow.
They'll raise him up from the middle of the ring like the Undertaker.
And that's the business of boxing, man. If they can still get you to that ring and walk up them steps, they good.
Man,
I mean,
look,
that's the
you
business
saw
of business.
Joe Lewis
Business of-
almost tripped over the ropes trying to get in the ring against Marciano.
Yeah, that's the business of business. We want to exclude it to boxing. It's the business of business.
Yeah.
If Brother George is the best attorney at something, but he's in an insane asylum, but all he do is talk about the law. If one of these top firms got a client that want him, they're gonna bring him from the insane asylum. They're gonna let him do that case. He gonna win that case. They're gonna send him back to the insane asylum. It's called the business of business. It's not one thing I have learned, and I might have learned it from just dealing with so many different people in my previous life. Nobody shows interest in you unless you have a value to them at some point down the line.
You know
The
what?
That's true.
random person will not walk down the street and have interest in you unless they see a benefit to themselves at some point or down the line. So one promoter, one manager, one trainer ain't no different than any other manager, promoter, or trainer. They caught you at the value system. And
You know
if
what?
we start thinking that we're in love with each other, then
Mm.
that's where the problem goes. Because the love only was one-sided. We the only people that fall in love. They never fell in love. They always thought it was a business.
They
We thought
always
it was
say
love.
they'll say we don't love them hoes.
And,
It is
and
what it is.
I mean,
Hey, George, I see you duck your head, but that's how they look. It's peddling flesh.
But can I say this?
Yeah, but hold on. It's not just in this game. Because
it's
if you
every
go
game.
into the acting game, Bruce Willis has dementia, and they had him do his last 2 movies with dementia.
It's every game, not a particular game. It's the game of life. That is how it works. That is how it
No,
works.
his affliction, it's called aphasia. Aphasia, where he, lost the ability to comprehend or communicate.
They only cared about his memory. Do he have enough memory to remember these lines? If we had to say cut after every line, say cut. But once again, just look how long we had Harrison Ford as an action hero. Shit, man, probably can't even get off the bed. They still had him the greatest action hero in the world, but they're gonna use him till he can't walk. Shit, if they could have put Christopher Reeves in a suit and still flew him after the accident, he would have still been Superman. It's about who can profit off of your situation. And I'm not mad at it. That's the way of the world. What we got to do is stop romanticizing getting drafted. Stop romanticizing getting picked up by a company. It's not romanticizing. You were the most talented person. They were able to get you at a number that was cool with them. When they're finished, it's over. That's why NFL players have always said for years, whatever money I got up front is the only money I'm guaranteed, because they'll cut me before I win all this money from a contract.
But you know what that NFL stand for, right? Not for long.
I mean, I don't look at it any different with this. I know you may develop some lifelong friends. Me and Jay talk just in general of life. We met through the boxing. You may get a promoter that you develop a lifelong friendship with through life. But on average, they have something you need. You have something they need. It is a trade-off. That's all it is. If you're able to be a free agent and you go shop the deck and find something better and you leave, how can they be mad? Just like if you have 2 or 3 losses and they can't get no more money off your ticket and they draft you, how can you be mad?
Yeah, and it's about remaining relevant, and that's what Floyd is. Floyd is smart as hell. Floyd knew that he could not fight against the pros anymore, so he said, "You know what? I'm gonna fight against motherfuckers that don't have no talent, that don't have no talent at all, and y'all gonna pay me to fight YouTubers."
But they still
give you some good money
and
too.
Getting away with it, and still getting paid more than most people get paid that fight professionally at the top level right now. God bless you.
I just find the only issue I take from it is when we are in position, we do not put the right people in position to further the position. And then we get upset when it's over and say
no. I ain't gonna let you do that. Break it down to the lowest common denominator so everybody understand what you're saying right now.
Okay, give you a great example. I called George and asked his opinion on something. He gave me his opinion. Whether I agree with his opinion or disagree with his opinion, I know he's been in the game a long time and I value his opinion. Now, if you do that to a person a couple of times and then you go hire somebody else that didn't give you those opinions and he gave you those opinions at no cost and you were able to get to a certain point, why not hire him? See, that's the only thing I will ever have an issue with. If you use 10 people who gave you great information and got you to a certain point, when you were able to create your own team, why did you overlook them so that somebody else offered you a team? Oh man, I got great guys you can use. I've used them myself. That means you can use my people. How can your people negotiate for me against you? That doesn't make sense. That's the only thing I ever argue about with athletes. When you're at your strength, you're at your position of strength, use your strength to further your situation. I didn't come on here with the kumbaya, make the whole race better. I said further your position, because if your position gets further, when you're no longer the athlete, you still have your position because you created the position for the next goal in life. And if you create that, then you're able to help the next person. Or you're able to now say, I see talent in you. I want this much of your talent in exchange for this much of my money.
Mm.
But that never gets done. And then we become the bitter ex-wife when the career's over. Oh, when I was with them, I gave them my all. And they also gave you all the money you agreed to.
Mm. Mm.
That's my only gripe. My gripe ain't with the people who put you in positions, the match rooms, the PBCs, or any of that. My
Mm-hmm.
gripe is with you. When you was in position, what did you do to further the position of yourself so that you could have an own stake in the game? So
And
that you could actually do something different. Because
then
that's an issue.
yeah,
That's an issue right there.
when you go with other people and you mad at yourself because you didn't take the people that you should have took with you. You put all these new niggas around, and I don't like new niggas. I'm gonna be honest. I apologize if y'all don't like my term. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if like you said, if Cats was right there to help you get where you at, why not go back to that team and say, "Hey, y'all, we here now."
Brother Hackett, I got an interesting story. There are about 3 fighters that have fought for world titles that I've helped them get out of bad contracts or helped them with their first contract. And I'm not going to mention any names. One person that I helped them with their first promotional contract. All they had to do, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this person goes, well, you know, George, when we make it there, you're going to be our guy. You know what I told them? As Bob Marley says, a promise is a comfort to a fool. They went on and I had to tell the person, I'm helping you because I know somebody in your family and I'm helping you. Whether you decide to come back away, it doesn't matter to me. But a lot of times when you see people at a certain level and you help them, very few ever look back.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why sometimes, because you didn't charge.
Oh, 100%. You beat me to it. You beat me to it. It's like they respect the people who put a tag on it.
Yeah.
And
that
if I
they
have
respect
to,
the people put a tag on it.
Brother Hackett, if I have to nickel and dime and charge people, that's just me. There are times you can.
No, I feel, and I
if
respect
I
that.
can't, listen, I'm not hungry.
Yeah, but that's because the moral fibers you have.
No,
people are not built like that.
In a position in my life, thanks to my grandparents and my father, where I needed something, or I felt I needed money, or I was desperate for money. You get my point? Mm-hmm. So I don't have to charge somebody or whatever. I don't. But the reality, I always tell people, if you feel at some point you've made it, right? I got a whole bunch of kids I help in Jamaica with books and computers and all that. If you need to donate something to them, let me know. You get my point? But for me to charge people and nickel,
yeah, but everybody not built like that though, bruh.
Hey, Mr. George, I don't think you nickel and dime nobody, but Harvard ain't let you go for 100% free, so they ain't paying you. They paying Harvard.
They paying give you a full scholarship.
Yeah, well, you might have been that one brother that never even paid for a sandwich at Harvard, but in some way, shape, or form, somebody paid something for you to be sitting in Harvard buildings. I don't care how it comes.
No,
so
I understand.
Yeah,
but sometimes you see guys on their way up, right? And a lot of guys, I've done a lot. People, they need help, and I know for them to go to an attorney, right, to look at their contract, it's going to cost them. A lot of times they don't even have the money, right? And then you have a lot of attorneys, the overwhelming percentage of attorneys don't understand the business model of boxing. If you get my point, they might understand contract, but if your attorney see you only have 3 fights on your contract for the first year, you understand contracts. He's not going to say, unless you understand the business model of boxing, my God, you should be fighting at least 6 times your first year. You get my point? Or whatever. So if you understand that, a lot of attorneys might understand contract, but they don't understand the business model of boxing.
No, I got you. I understand you there. And that once again, but you help prove my point. If you understand that and you know that, say I want to hire the other guy. I ain't got no problem with that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you to feel like, you got a nickel and dime because you don't. If I tell you before I say yes to this other guy, tell me how much you're going to charge me to read over something. If you say $2,000, I'm gonna give you $2,000 for the benefit of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's our problem. We cheap shit ain't good, and good shit ain't cheap.
It
We
is.
done
And
mastered that.
that's some real shit right there, man.
And brother, let me say this to you, brother Hackett, right? A person can't pay me, right? In the sense that I'd rather do something for free for a person than get a couple $100 because you can't pay me. That's not worth my time. If you see my point,
I got you. No, I
I'd
got
rather say, bro,
Well,
I do for free.
don't charge a couple of hundred. Charge a couple of thousand then.
you.
No, but
And I
they don't
said
have a couple of
if that
thousand.
guy only made a couple of hundred. But what my thing is, sometimes you gotta have something within yourself. If I made a couple of hundred, I'm gonna see you with 50. I'm gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, can I give you 50? I ain't asking you, can I give it to you? You must take it because I got a certain amount of pride within myself.
Yeah.
Like, brother, you gotta take this. It
And
may not be what
and
your fee is, but you gotta let me still be a man.
Gotta take something. Right. There you
Jay
go.
Hardcore.
Say that again.
Jay Hardcore. If a person can't pay me what I'm worth, I feel good in myself that I volunteer and I give you.
Yeah, but then later you might feel bitter. You know,
No,
you're bringing it up, but you're bringing it
Jay
up now.
Hardcore. You got to
You're
realize
bringing it
something.
up, but you're bringing it up now, so you feel
No,
some type of
no.
way.
No. He brought that
Jay
up as an
Hardcore.
example. Not out of
I'm
yeah, I
bringing it
respect
up
what
Okay.
you're
as
saying.
an example to show you the nature of human beings. Not
Yeah,
that I'm
okay.
bitter. I'm not bitter.
Okay, cool.
No, I
I'm
understood.
not
I
bitter.
knew he
I'm
wasn't
only
talking from
showing
a
you the
bitter
nature
point.
of human beings.
Okay, cool.
But I still feel like for me, and maybe
Yeah.
like I said, once again, it's from my background.
Yeah. You
I can't.
were reared different.
Yeah,
Right.
if you gave me a solid, then maybe my solid wasn't to the level that you gave to me.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
I got to give you the solid in return at the level that I can.
Just the
So,
man in you. The
yeah.
man in you. Right.
So
Exactly.
if you gave me 1,000 and didn't ask for it back, when we go out to dinner, I see you across the table with your lady at a dinner. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling the lady, hey, hand me his bill. And you
Facts.
said, no, I'm good. No, miss. I said, hand me his bill. And I'm
Exactly.
walking out. I'm not ask you to say hello
We're
or
not
nothing.
we're not gonna negotiate about it. Yeah.
We're not going to negotiate that. Hand
Matter of
me the
fact,
man
you won't
bill.
even know until it's over with anyway.
Yeah, I ain't gonna touch you or nothing. I'm walking out
Right,
because
exactly.
that's what I could do at my level.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah,
people don't
that's
understand when somebody gives something up to you. If somebody gave up their freedom for me, so they didn't tell on me, and my kids, my wife, anybody say, how long do you owe them for what they did? I say that doesn't never have an expiration date on it because they didn't have to do it. That's
Yeah.
the problem now.
Mm-hmm.
The moral, the value, your code of ethics, people got them confused. You got people that never broke a law talking about, I don't mess with this dude because he a snitch. You don't even be in situations where nobody gonna snitch on you. Then you got dudes that do everything totally wrong and ask, man, why that nigga do me like that? Out of all the people you did wrong, see that they got the confusion with it. And what they doing is passing it down. And when they pass it down, erosion only denigrates worse. It doesn't stay the same or get better. So they've eroded it all the way down to the point where, man, he did that to him. Man, that was in the past, man. He looked out for me when I was on the corner. He looked out for me when I was in 4-rounders. Damn, but did you need it to get where you are now? If you did, why he stuck there? You got a million dudes that graduate and get drafted in the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, and they say, hey, I'd like to thank my college coach for doing this. What about the man who showed you how to get in a 3-point stance?
Mm-hmm.
Because he the reason you got to college. That's what I be saying. Don't forget him. You like you just said, you might not never ask me for nothing, but I say, hey, Coach George, he go 10 pair of brand new gloves because I got a glove company that fuck with me. Send these over to the youngest in Jamaica. Or I'm going to Jamaica for a couple of days. Tell me what gym over there I can stop in and I can give 4 kids some gloves. Everything don't have a dollar, but everything has a value.
Got a point.
Yeah.
Well, Jay Hardcore, I'm living the American dream, man. Think about it. I grew up on a farm in Jamaica, idolizing Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and George Foreman, right? I actually got to hang out with Joe Frazier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually got to see Joe Frazier cross the opposing corner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually good friends with Joe Frazier's daughter, Jackie Frazier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually was the opening speaker based on a story I wrote for Joe Frazier for his 70th birthday party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got a picture with George Foreman. I'm living the American dream, man. You didn't see how happy I was in press row at the Boots fight?
Yes, sir.
The fact that all I cared about was boxing, and I got to meet all these people I never thought about I was ever going to meet, and the fact that I got to meet them and hang out with them, that's reward in itself.
You know what, George? You know, and I'm not trying to make this about color, but you were the only black person on that first row.
I got a story about that too. So,
hey, and I'm feeling good because I was on the row behind you. So,
I got a story I got to tell you about that, Jay Hardcore.
Okay, cool.
What was that? What was that? A memorial dinner for Joe's 70th birthday? Because I think he died at 67, didn't he?
Right. They had a 70th at the Enterprise Center. It's a business hub in 46th and Market, where the old arena used to be. It's a place they still have an auditorium. Jackie Frazier and the family had his 70th birthday party in 2000. What was it? 2014. His 70th birthday party.
Wow.
At that building.
Still celebrating.
She read there's a story. I can send it to you, Jay Hardcore. There's a story. I'll put it in the chat when I get done. I had written the story about Joe Frazier, and she read it, and she said, "Can you come and be the opening speaker for my father's 70th birthday party?" And I was like, "My God!" I almost I was pinching myself. I'm going to be the opening speaker at Joe Frazier's 70th birthday party.
Wow. Wow.
He had passed away by then, but there was the whole family.
And that's amazing because you never know where boxing is going to take you. Because I never thought that I'd be sitting here on a Sunday night talking to all y'all great fellas, man. I never did. You know what I mean? But you never know where boxing is going to take you, man. You know what I mean? And I look at each and every one of you all as my friends now, man. And I talk to you all, man. And it's a beautiful thing, man. And then to come together every Sunday and give back what we have learned. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're doing right now. We have all, gray hair don't care. And we come up in here and we give back, passing down the knowledge that we have freely received, or maybe we might have had to pay for it too. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to pass it on to the younger people that are watching, my demographics actually say 25 to 35 years old. You know what I mean? So we're passing it down. And hopefully one person in here that's in our chat will pass it down again. You know what I mean? So, if we touch that one person that can say, I remember when Bernard Hackett said this. I can remember when Bruce Gass said this. I remember when George said that. I remember when Mr. Will said this. I remember when Brother Umar said that. You don't know who you're touching right now.
But you know what was so monumental, and I tell everybody the Boots fight was monumental because the fourth largest fight in Philly boxing history. But the fact that here we are, I'm talking to Jay Hardcore behind me, press row, Brother Hackett, and guess who's coming up to the ring with their son to fight? So there are three people from this podcast at a world championship fight on DAZN.
Ain't that crazy? I ain't
kind
never
of crazy
like that.
We're actually watching you and your son while we're in press row discussing the fight.
Yeah.
It's a small, big world.
That's boxing, man. And that's why we love this beautiful sport we love called boxing, because you never know where it's going to take you, man. You don't know where it's going to take you. That vehicle called boxing, man. It's just
can
amazing.
I ask you a question, Jay Hardcore?
You can.
I had this to Brother Hackett. I'm watching the fight with your son, right?
Yes,
and at some point, Pistol Pete, it seemed like mentally he broke him down by about the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like mentally he just I don't know, was broken. Did you notice that?
I was telling Jay, me and Jay were talking. This was my son's best fight, and I'm gonna say why it was his best fight because this was it's the first time that he carried out the game plan exactly how we planned it.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to go out. This was first 10 rounder. We wanted to go out and win the first 6 rounds.
Okay.
And I told my son, you can pick whichever round that you want in the first 6 and go for the stoppage. If you don't get it, we have to go back to the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, round 7 and 8, I want you to gather yourself. So let's not look to win round 7. Let's get the air back. Round 8, let's get back in the groove. Round 9, let's break even. And round 10, close the show. That was the whole plan.
Y'all hear that? You're getting a chance of hearing the game plan of a boxer. He said 7 game roast round 7, we're going to lose.
Yeah,
basically.
And when he got back after the 3rd round, he said, "This the round." I said, "Round 4." I said, "You better go do what you do, or else we going back to the game plan." And round 4, he went after it. And when Pete did an interview with Greg Hackett, Pete said, "Man, he hit me in my left ear in the 4th round, bust my eardrum. Then he hit me in the right ear, bust that eardrum." He said, "I think it's just a plan that he's doing." He said he was trying to break me. And I think in that 4th round, I think he dug into the part of him that said, "I will finish on my feet." And that part of him I respected because he said, "I'm gonna finish on my feet." When my son came back after the end of the 4th round, that was our first laugh round. I said, "Well, you didn't get him." He said, "I know, back to the game plan."
But you know, Brother Hackett, you and I had no discussion about this. We never talked about it.
No, sir.
But I noticed that the 4th round, it just stood out. You get my point? Like you were trying to break his spirit.
Yeah, that was the round. He said, I can get one of the first 6 and I can try and finish him. And that was the round he chose, round 4. And I think that was, if you want to say the round that P made the decision, he didn't make a decision to run. He didn't make a decision to quit. He made a decision to say, "I'm not getting knocked out. I can get beat, but I'm not going to get knocked out."
When did the hematola show up? What round?
I think that was round 6. Round 6. Okay. I want to say 6. But
Jay
like
Hardcore.
I said,
it's in the article, Jay Hardcore. You didn't read it?
I read not all of it, no, sir.
but he definitely went back to the plan because right after that I said, "Jaleel, we have to be assertive with the jab, not use it to go away or not use it as an afterthought, but use it as a legit weapon. And when he starts looking that you're going to jab him in the head, start stabbing him to the body." And he went back to that and he stuck with the whole plan. Round 7, I was fine because he actually did what I asked him to do. Take the round off, stay close, stay in range, but don't move around, catch your air. Round 8, we broke even in round 8. I was fine with that. Round 9, he said, "I'm going to use round 9 for the same thing I did in 7. Cool. And when we had our conversation, he said, after round 8, I feel a little winded. And I said, "Well, it's time for you to be a man, son. You didn't do 8 rounds of work to give it away in 6 minutes. Stick to the game plan."
Was it more the lights? Because we know that he's conditioned.
It was
stage, or what was
it? You can do your greatest job ever preparing for 10 rounds. But until you go 10 rounds, you don't know how it feels to go 10 rounds. Right. We did 100 rounds in the gym. Amen. When the crowd is up, when people are making noise, when you get that first rush of adrenaline, all of that stuff kick in.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then when the
bigness of the event,
right. So when that
you can't factor that in. You can't factor that in.
You can't prepare for that in no gym. When you take them 16s off and they become 8s, when you get punched in the mouth with them, it's different than when you get punched in the mouth with them big gloves on. When you take that headgear off, you automatically become a little more conscious of what's going on because you took it off. If you wear a hat all day, you know when you took your hat off when you go in the house, your head don't have the weight on it. So for him to be in his first 10 against a more than qualified guy, don't forget, February he had just went 12 rounds with Conor Bent. I don't care how you looked at the 12, he didn't get flatlined. He's an experienced guy. So I wanted Jalil to learn game plan. I'm glad that they went 10 rounds. Jay, me and you spoke the week before. I said, I hope this is a 10-round fight for the betterment of his career, because he will know within himself, I can do 10 rounds.
When I first seen you the next day and you was like hardcore, I said that was experience.
Yeah, he needed that.
And he needed that. Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm not upset with it. And I read the article. I thought you were spot on. You know, I one of the guys I think went on Twitter and said he had it 9-1. I said we was 9-1, we didn't do our job. 8-2. That was the plan. And he said, okay, I seen it. I can see 8-2. I had a couple of good coaches. I won't say none of their names, some of them from different areas, but they all called me and said, do not run your horse so fast to where he run out of gas. It's 10 rounds. You don't have to win 10 rounds. You got to win the majority. And that's what I focused on. Win the majority, look good doing it. In the 10th round, when I said, son, you got the gas back? He said, yeah. He was throwing 6-punch combinations and triple hooks in the 10th round.
Yeah.
That's what told me that he stuck to the game plan. These young fighters got youth on their side, but they don't have experience. They don't know how to do game plans. So a more experienced guy, he's going to take them to an area where they haven't been, the area where you have to rely on your team. People don't realize in boxing, yes, it's a fighter in there, but he has to rely on his team. That corner has to use that 1 minute to the best of the ability. One person asked me, why you didn't get in the ring? You had Coach Kenny get in the ring. Kenny get in the ring faster than me. I'm not going to lose 10 seconds so somebody can get more pitches of me. He gets in the ring faster than me. He was doing Jalil's cuts so he can see where, if there's something breaking down, what do I need to work on? I can say what I got to say in his ear. That's where I need to be in his ear. My other coach, he was the most needed coach out of everybody, because he got that chair in there as soon as the bell rang. So Jalil didn't have to go looking for the chair. The chair was there. Just come sit down. That 1 minute is like an Indianapolis 500 pit crew. Every driver who wins, the first people he thank is my pit crew.
And it ain't no I in the team.
We talk about it.
The minute got to be the best used minute that you have. Leading up to this fight, only 2 people really, outside of our own team, only 2 people spoke up in a way that was very great to Jalil. Tank Davis said, do what's best for you, Shawty. I ain't telling you where to go. Do what's best for you. The second person was Boo's dad, Bozy. Bozy once said, hey, get this kid, man. They asked, do you think he's ready for a title shot? He was like, man, this kid ready. He's ready. Get him. You know, Mr. George, you know how much it costs to put a title fight on. People get caught up in, well, it only costed what my son made and what the other fighter made. Nah, them people spent $100,000 to get this boy this fight with no ties to the other fighter. So if my son loses, they just gave a dude they don't have promotional control over freedom, a belt, and he can go wherever he want in a top 20 ranking. You don't do that for a 20-year-old kid. So, you know, you got to respect all the pieces.
They're like, hey, they were shooting that dice. Hey, I need an 8.
And if you ain't been in the positions that I know Marvin been in personally, if you ain't been in the positions that I know George been in personally, if you haven't been in the positions that I definitely know that the other 2 members of this panel been in, but I know those 2 guys and know their situation a little different, then you can't tell me you understand. That's why I be telling people, why y'all telling these kids he worth all this money when you know damn well the kid not worth all this damn money? You making him roll the dice on something you know you shouldn't be doing. But if you tell him the truth, hey, young man, don't take this chance because that money ain't right. Hey, young man, you should take this chance because where you are in your career, it might not roll around again. It takes people with the experience to say that. They moving Mojo good. They moving sharp. They moving them right. Because I can see, we known each other over 20-some years now. I ain't never seen Umar with a motherfucking plate with no food on it saying, "Can y'all feed me?" So he eating every day before Mojo. He was eating every day before him. So he not trying to redirect that kid. When I called Mr. George, he ain't say, "Hey, brother, call me tomorrow morning 9:30, and my office will be open, and then we can hit the clock because this is what you owe me for a conversation." But them dudes eating. They not starving. Them the people you want around your fighter. You don't want no old 1960s look cigar smoking dude with a suit on in the corner saying, "Let me tell you what I can do for you." Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's look at something.
Yeah.
There you have it. There you have it, man. We're gonna bring this to an end right now, man. It was another beautiful show. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna let y'all know something. And I'm not talking about the people on the panel, but the people in the chat. We never practice none of this. We just come in here, give a topic, and we talk about it. That's because we done lived it. We done seen it. We know about it. We got these gray hairs now. We got these. Somebody got some background right now. I don't know who it is. But yeah, we done lived it, man. And all we doing is just giving it back generously. You know what I'm saying? We get in here and we talk about what we know. And we're able to talk about it so easily because it's already in us.
It happened, you know. It happened. It happened to us.
We done already lived it. We done already lived it. We done seen it. We got the t-shirt. And that's why we're able to easily talk about it because we have experienced it, man.
You know, Jay Hardcore, that's true, yes, man, because back in 1910, I saw you doing a podcast with Jack Johnson.
George, hey George, I see you working on your second career. Trying to be a comedian now. But I tell you what, if I was there, you was there too to see me. How about that? Oh man, but listen here, man. I appreciate everybody. Let's go around the board real quick, man. Burning desires, last statements, man. Hey, Bruce, give us your last statement for tonight. What you got for us, man?
Man, you know, you can call it good vibes. You can call it the wisdom, experience. I call it the spirit. And, you know, I felt it here tonight, man. You know, I felt it good tonight. And, you know, today I put together a trivia thing. I'm going to do 50 trivia questions tomorrow on my show. Please stop by there at 7 o'clock if anybody wants to play it, man. It's not going to be easy because like this show, bro, nothing comes easy, man. It's all the experience we have and the knowledge. So, man, you know, once again, thanks so much for another Sunday night. And I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Brother Umar.
Hey.
What you got for
see everybody next week. I ain't got too much to say, man.
Mr. Will.
Yeah, well, I got to piggyback that statement. You know how I feel. I enjoy being here every Sunday with you guys, and it's always a pleasure. But my only thing for me, do this. Everybody enjoy, the rest of your week, and stay safe. And I'll see you guys next weekend.
Brother George.
Not much, man. I think all I gotta say is Brother Hackett and Bozie Anderson, Boots, and all those people, man. I was so happy that we had a historic time in Philadelphia with the Boots fight, and that somebody, Brother Hackett and his son, were on the card. Cause yes. I had so much to write about, man. I wrote so much. It took me a week to edit it and narrow it down to 11 pages. So, you know, it was just great. Just having you there, Jay Hardcore and Press Row, and then watching somebody, Jaleel and his pop, do their thing. So, and then watching Bozie and Boots, somebody I've known most of my life, and watching Boots as a guy, as a little kid, as a toddler who crawled in the gym, all the way up to have his first title defense in front of his hometown fans or people he knows. So that was great. And just seeing people from this podcast there.
Wow. Amazing.
That was historic for me, man. That if nothing else happens for this year, that's my gift for 2024. Just being at that fight.
Amen on that. Brother Bernard.
For me, my closeout is I appreciate all of you guys 100%. I definitely also feel the same as Brother George said. It was a historical event. Uh, for me, the biggest thing is my older kids saw me do everything that you could possibly imagine wrong, and to have my grandson who's sitting on my lap be able to see what I'm doing with, yeah, his uncle, my son, and for our family to be able to create something of our own. I think that's the biggest takeaway I have, and having great guys like Coach Bozy and Tank and the whole GTD team, where normally you don't see people speak up good on you unless they can get something out of it for themselves.
Mm.
Those dudes have nothing to gain from my son. They just want to see him do well. So just loving that camaraderie that I have with good people, and like I said, having good guys like you and honest men like you, Jay Hardcore and George, who were able to say to me before the fight, I think this might be a bit much. And for us to have to go out there and have to prove we belong, that's what I appreciate. I don't hate when you have a difference of opinion. I hate when you don't air your opinion.
Mm. Heavy. That's heavy. Man, I'm so glad. And like I said, I love that moment in Philadelphia, and that's going to be embedded in my heart forever. You know what I mean? And many more to come. You know what I'm saying? That ain't seen nothing yet. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about this, man. And I appreciate you all pulling up every Sunday, man, and helping me facilitate this show, man, and educating the people, man. You know what I mean? Gray hair don't care, man, and we just keep it moving, man. And I salute to everybody. I salute everybody in the chat, and I also want to salute William Old School that gave me the idea that we should have a 50 and over panel, and you can't be on here unless you're 50 and over. And if you have made it in here and you're less than 50, because God made sure you was here. So I salute everybody, man. And other than that, man, it's your boy Jay Hardcore, Hardcore Boxing News. What's up, Sean? You remember me? You knocked me out at the house like a couple of weeks ago.
You was sparring him at the house party after the boxing match.
Other than that, man, we out of here, man. Y'all take it easy.
All right, good bro.
Man, how you turn this damn thing on? And we out.